new what if. It's a combination of a what if. Got this idea from academea, and it was like, he didn't finish it, so I'm like, I kinda want to do it. And I'm using 2 videos. academea and Getting the Robots. Getting the Robots explained the quirk for Naruto, which is 9 tails and emitter quirk. And I will be using that in a different sort of method. Naruto will not be getting the Rasengan in the story because, well, he doesn't really have the 9 tails. I'm gonna say that his Rasengan is gonna be the Biju Bomb. It's gonna be like a smaller Biju Bomb in the form, it's basically gonna be a Rasengan, but it's a Biju Bomb and way more destructive. So we start off with the what if with Naruto Uzumaki being born. Now Minato would not be dead. Minato and Kushina would not be dead this time. They're both pro heroes. Because it wouldn't make any sense for them to be dead. Because no 9 tails attacked, it's just Naruto's quirk. Minato's quirk is flying Raijin, which means he can teleport. He can teleport anywhere he marks. And Kushina's quirk is just, really, I don't know what Kushina's quirk would be. I don't really have a quirk for her. Now, Naruto's parents are going to be in this story, but no one else. Just them. It's going to be Naruto, Minato, and Kushina. So, Naruto is, Minato, so the first day, Kushina takes Minato, no, not Minato. Kushina takes Naruto to the hospital, not because he's injured or anything, to check out his quirk, to see, because he's 4 years old. The doctor says, wow, I've never seen a quirk like this. This is a really good one. He says, it's an emitter quirk. It's called 9 tails. And Kushina goes, what? And he says, he can unleash a yellow aura, a yellowish orangey aura that sprouts out tails, but if he powers up too much, he might be overcome by the fox's power. And Kushina is like, what? Well, I gotta go tell Minato. So she tells Minato, and Minato's like, yes, he has a quirk. I'm gonna say Kushina is actually quirkless, but she still has raw strength like she does in the original timeline. No, I'm kidding, she doesn't. So, one day, Naruto was at the park, having a little bit of fun, and he sees a little kid crying, and he's about to get beat up by a guy with wings, some weird kid, and a kid with explosion powers. And now I'm talking about Bakugo and his wingy boyfriend and that other guy. So immediately Naruto's like, stop! Because Naruto's actually gotten training from at least basic fighting from Minato. So Minato immediately runs... no, I'm kidding, it's not Minato. Naruto immediately says, stop. So Bakugo says, get out of the way, stupid. He goes for the explosion, but Naruto says, stop, and then catches his hand, and then immediately activates 9-tail eyes, because he knows how to a little bit control his quirk. So Naruto activates the QB eyes, and says, ugh. So then he yeets Bakugo away. Then his little friends come. Naruto grabs 2 of their hands, spins them around, punches one, kicks the other, and powers up even more. Yellow aura. He screams, ah! And then disappears from Bakugo's vision, slams his hand into Bakugo's face, sending him flying. No, Bakugo is sent flying. Now, give me a second, guys. I need to take a sip of my drink. So Naruto would destroy Bakugo and said, hey, are you okay? And he says, yeah, I'm Deku. He says, hey, and then he says, so you're Deku. And then he says, how do you know that? And he says, the lunchbox. He says, the box. He says, oh, no, my name is Izuku Midoriya. Nice to meet you. And Naruto goes, oh, hey, I'm Naruto Uzumaki. Nice to meet you. And then, after that, after that, they have some fun. They play together in the park, and after that, Midori goes home and tells his mom, he goes, hey, Mom, I made a friend. And, I forgot, Izuku's mom is so happy, because she's like, my boy finally made a friend. And she says, what's his name? And he says, Naruto. And she's like, the Naruto? And also, Minato's hero name is Yellow Flash still. So she's like, he's the son of the Yellow Flash? And he goes, who's the yellow flat? And then he just stops. He's like, oh, that's him. So we're just gonna go for a 9-year time skip. I'm kidding. We're gonna go for a 11-year time skip with Naruto always protecting Deku from thing. Now we're moving on to then when they're in 8th grade, about to graduate to high school. So Deku doesn't have a quirk this timeline, of course. So Bakugo, so the teacher says, Izuku Midoriya, you would like to head to UA? And he says, oh, you too, Naruto Uzumaki. He doesn't. Naruto Uzumaki is actually recommended. And Bakugo goes, what? That lowlife is actually recommended? He goes and charges an explosion, and Naruto goes into one-tailed state. Because over the time, he has control at least over one tail. So then he punches Bakugo into a wall and says, shut up. And everyone just looks at Bakugo and goes, ooh. They're like, he got wrecked. And then Deku gets up, and then he says, so what if Midoriya's going to UA? Y'all got a problem with that? And then he goes nine-tailed eyes and says, and everyone goes, no. But then Bakugo just runs right towards him with an explosion, catching Naruto off guard, but then he grabs his hand and yeets him into a wall and says, stop it, Bakugo. Then he creates a little tail beast ball. He creates a tail beast ball and says, if you ever do that again, I will destroy you. And then lets it go and says, and Bakugo's just left in a wall. So, of course, Midoriya actually meets All Might with Christian. No, I just said Christian because of my old what if from my last what if. So, why? I am messing up like shit. So Naruto and Midoriya are walking home, and then a sludge monster comes and attacks Midoriya. Naruto uses Nine-Tails emitter quirk, and Tail Beast balls him into All Might. All Might sees him and says, Detroit! Smash! And sends it flying. What? Did I see a giant panda? Whatever. So we get flying into a wall. I'm kidding. Then All Might seals him up and says, thank you, young Naruto. And he goes, oh, hey, All Might. Because he actually knows All Might. Because Minato is friends with All Might. Also, Minato is friends with Endeavor. Not really friends. They just have mutual respect. So Naruto knows Todoroki. Naruto actually knows Todoroki in this timeline. They're actually friends. So they hang out sometimes. So Naruto... And also Todoroki's mom isn't so like scared by Endeavor, and also she's not worried for Shoto because he actually has a friend. So right then Naruto goes to Shoto Todoroki's house, and he says, "Hey Todoroki," and he's like, "Oh, Naruto," and he says, "Oh, and who is this?" And he says, "This is Midoriya. I should have introduced you like 10 years ago, but I just forgot to introduce you to him. So this is Midoriya, Izuku Midoriya." And he says, "Izuku Midoriya, nice to meet you." And he says, "Oh yeah, Todoroki, you going to UA?" And he says, "Yeah." And he says, "Oh, Midoriya's also going to UA." And he says, "Cool, what's his quirk?" And he says, "He's quirkless, but, before you assume, he's very strong in martial art wise. Like, he knows how to fight. Just saying, he knows how to fight. Very much knows how to fight." So he just says, and then Todoroki's like, "Oh." Says, "Oh yeah, we also met All Might today." So Deku says, so then Deku gets all bushy and says, "Yeah, we did meet he gets all weird. And then he goes and runs off. And he's like, and Todoroki's like, "What's up with him?" And he's like, just shocked that he met All Might." So then Naruto says, "Bye, Todoroki." Naruto heads off. So Naruto would actually be, so Deku would go back to see All Might, but All Might is gone. Now, All Might would probably say, All Might is actually sitting there, and Deku and Naruto see him, and he goes, "All Might!" And he says, "Who are you?" Says, and and then he goes, shoot, because he sees normal All Might, and then he goes, All Might, and then he shrivels down and goes, clot, and he's like, and of course Deku finds out about his secret. So does Naruto. Naruto finds out, of course, blah blah blah, and Deku follows him and says, "Can I be asks him, All Might, can I be a hero?" And he says, "No, young Midori." And he says, and then he just chases him. Oh crap! Deku gets one for all. Blah 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 blah. Him and Naruto are training every single day, and he says, "Hey!" And so Naruto goes, "Hey, Dad, Deku got a quirk." And he says, "How?" And he says, All Might gave him one for all. Because Deku needs to train. And you mind helping us with with Deku's training? And Minato's like, what? He got one for all. And he says, congratulations, Deku. You're the ninth successor of one for all. All Might have passed that power down to you. Says, let's get to training immediately. So Kushina is in Deku's, so Thing invites him over. Kushina invites Deku's mom over, and yeah, they have a party to celebrate Deku's actual quirk. Also, yeah, they celebrate Deku's quirk arrival. For the celebration party, Naruto and Minato are training with Deku. Deku says, Detroit! Smash! And punches. And then he breaks his arm, and Deku's mom and Kushina are like, and then Deku's mom starts bursting into tears, saying, no, his arm is broken. But then Recovery Girl shows, and then he says, wait a minute, don't worry, I know a person who can help. And he rings on the phone, he says, hey, Recovery Girl, can you come up here, can you come down here? Or can we bring someone towards you? And Recovery Girl agrees. So Minato touches Deku's shoulder and says, don't worry, this will be quick and easy. He teleports to Recovery Girl and says, here's the patient. And she goes, oh, who's this? And she says, this is the ninth successor of One for All. He goes, oh, alright. So then she heals Deku up, and they get right back to training. So Deku doesn't use One for All at all. They're just training him up. And then, yeah. Now there's a 10-month time skip until the exams. Deku gets One for All full cowling. I know I do this in most of my Deku what-ifs, but Deku gets One for All full cowling. 5%. He can go 5%. He's not... Frick. He's not as fast. He's not as strong as One for All full cowling Deku as when he first gets it. But he's really strong. So of course the exams happen. And Naruto says, what should I do? So Naruto immediately goes out, just blitzes to a robot and says, goodbye, creates a tail beast bomb and explodes it. Naruto vanishes from everyone's vision, and so does Deku. Deku vanishes, and they both punch 2 more robots. And then everyone starts running around exploding robots. Everyone's like, how are they so fast? But the reason why they're so fast is Deku and Naruto are blitzing towards each other and throwing each other towards the robots. So they're teaming up. So Deku, of course, would pass, and so does Naruto. Naruto would go straight for everyone. But then Naruto would go... and go one tail, and then starts blitzing everything and destroying it. And then Naruto passes the exam with flying colors. So does Deku. Deku is not on recommendation. Naruto is on recommendation. So when Naruto makes it, he's in class 1A. So is Naruto. Blah blah blah. Bakugo sees Deku and says, "How did you get so strong, you little nut?" And right before Bakugo finishes that truth, he's blasted by a tail beast bomb and says, shut up, Bakugo. And then Deku blitzes and says, let's just head back. And then they just walk away, and Bakugo says, hey, don't you dare walk away from me. So now Deku would probably be a lot stronger. So Deku was actually frightened at what the hell he just did. He is scared at what he did. He's like, I can't believe I just did that. Then he walks away. So then he's ready. So Deku passes, Naruto passes, they're in class 1A, blah 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 blah. Now on to the exams. Naruto so first Deku goes 1 for all full cowling and gets a 1,000 meters. Bakugo only gets a 730. Naruto, on the other hand, says, tail! He grabs it and yeets the ball. It looks like it's about to, then he activates Ninetales' cloak and pushes it and grabs a chakra arm and punches it. And it goes even farther. And then Aizawa says, wow, he really is his son. Naruto blitzes, so Naruto gets in about 2,000 meters with that extra punch. And everyone is shocked. They're like, what? And of course, Uraraka gets infinity. Naruto is first. So in first place for all this. So next is the weightlifting. Naruto summons a lot of the Ninetales power into his arms and starts lifting weights goes super hard lifting weights. And he is beating Shoji and everyone. Deku starts lifting them as fast and then goes on to surpass Naruto's strength, but then Naruto rams it up to 1 cloak and says, you won't beat me, Deku. And then he goes, ah! So Naruto and Deku tie. Onto the speed test. Immediately it's Deku versus Bakugo. Deku blitzes to the side and gets in a mere not even 1 second. He gets into less than a second and blitzes over there. Naruto versus Ashido. I'm just gonna say Naruto versus her. Naruto goes 1 tail cloak and blitzes through, getting 1 second, getting less than a second too. And all the rest of the tests, they all pass. So Naruto passes first place. Deku comes second because he wasn't really as good as the throwing one. Bakugo in 4th, actually. Todoroki in 3rd. And, Momo in 5th. I'm not gonna go through all of them. So, Naruto would probably go to the next part of the squad. Naruto would, of course, be part of the Deku squad. It'd be Naruto, Uraraka, Ida, Deku. And Todoroki. Todoroki's also part of the Deku squad. And it's actually called the Naruto squad now, so, yeah. So, of course, we're just gonna move on to the first ever we're gonna move on to the training exam. It's Naruto in Deku versus Bakugo and Ida. Naruto immediately, they both run up the stairs and they get humongously exploded. Naruto activating his 2 tails form, but it's not really controlled that well. Quickly activates 1 tail and blocks the explosion for him and Midoriya. Then he blitzes to Bakugo, slamming his face into a wall, breaking actually the wall, and Deku kneeing him in the stomach and says, Detroit! And then Naruto says, stop it, you're gonna destroy the building, and then we're gonna get less points for the test. And he says, true. Then he does it less hard, then sends him flying into a wall, destroying it almost. Then they blitz to Ida and say, hey Ida, no hard feelings, okay? Deku immediately punches Ida in the face, sending him into and then Ida says, no need, we're friends. We're still friends. He punches Ida in the face and says, Detroit smash! They start to fight. Actually, he doesn't do Detroit smash. Ida actually goes full speed and blitz kicks and destroys Izuku's arm with just a hit, and he's worried that he hurt his friend. Then Naruto comes out of nowhere with a 1-tailed beast bomb, but then he reverses it, and Ida's like, what? And then he gets a punch to the face, and then kicking off Ida's back, he touches the bomb. Passing. So of course, the next round is Todoroki and Kaminari. I don't really care, I put random teams on. They blitz through, punching. He just, of course, freezes the building, but he's not as edgy as before, so he actually wants to show some skill. So immediately, the Hagakure runs at, and also Totoro do it, and he blocks it, and then he kicks him. He blocks it with ice, and then Kaminari shocks them all, except for Todoroki. Then Todoroki starts to ice skate, and Kaminari activates his lightning cloak, and then starts to speed up the door. I'm gonna give Kaminari the lightning cloak. No, Kaminari goes up the building with Todoroki, and Hagakure is there. She goes to slap Kaminari. And then she's frozen up to her hand. He releases the ice after that. And of course, because he doesn't want to kill her, because that's what happened to the Nomu. So yeah, he touches it and wins. So screw the rest of it. I don't care. Now on to the USJ. There wouldn't really need to be an attack, but for plot convenience, there will be. They also want to attack the newest user of One For All and the son of Minato. So immediately they run there. So they blitz in, and Naruto's like, what? And immediately Minato and All Might are notified. Minato actually putting a seal on Naruto to if Naruto ever need help. Blitz is there, and he blitzes. He actually placed a seal on All Might too. Teleports to All Might, says, "All Might, you ready?" And he says, "Yeah." So then they teleport over, and immediately the fight is changed. The first match is Minato versus Tomura. Minato immediately pulls out his flying Raijin kunai, and All Might activates One For All to fight the Nomu. All Might defeats the Nomu easily, and Minato gets ready to fight. He pulls out his kunai and yeets it at Tomura. Then he teleports behind Tomura and grabs his face and grabs his back of his head and flips him, and is about to slam him, but then puts his face into his knee, and then putting Tomura's head into the ground, jumping on top of him, jumping on his back, jumping up into the air, and then going down with a full fury punch. You know, I messed up, but I want to give Minato Rasengan, because that's his jutsu. So Minato runs and then throws another kunai right in front of Tomura's face. Tomura dodges the kunai, but then he's hit by something in his back. He's hit by a Rasengan, and Minato yells, "Rasengan!" He bases it off of Naruto's tail beast ball that he uses. So then he combines that with his flying Raijin and destroys him, sending Tomura into a wall. And Kurogiri trying to go after him, but then more pro heroes show up and they body Kurogiri. Then Tomura tries to escape. Minato teleports and punches him in the stomach, but not for Tomura giving a little parting gift by decaying Minato's arm. Minato was really hurt from that, but then Naruto rushes towards Tomura and chakra arm punches him to the face. And now Tomura can't really decay it at all, so he's sent into a wall, and Naruto uses his Nine Tails chakra to heal up Minato. Minato's arm is now full on healed. Now so when he's about to decay so Tomura appears right in front of Naruto, about to decay him. Aizawa erases his quirk immediately, and Minato with one Rasengan to the stomach says, "Don't you dare try and kill my son," and then Rasengans him in the face, sending Tomura flying. So then they escape. So then Kurogiri, right when Tomura was about to hit a wall, teleports him to the League of Villains base. Yeah, that's basically it. So that's gonna be it for part 1. Tell me if you'd like to see the part